The Americans fled home and left the Hmong to fight without support. Due to the max capacity of how many passengers could fit, many were left behind.
What happened during the war in Laos was that the North Vietnamese were stalled very effectively by the Hmong, and that war is now continuing. The full strength of the North Vietnamese army is being brought to bear against the Hmong in their village areas in Laos.
It became clear very early that the officials in Laos regarded the Hmong as threats, and there is evidence of severe sustained attacks, artillery and troops, reports of chemicals of some sort, poison chemicals being used against the Hmong. Those refugees that I've spoken with describe having lived in fear of their lives and living in the jungle for months and years, eating literally roots and leaves to keep alive, and making an arduous trek which lasts weeks or more to get to the Mekong River and cross to Thailand.
You get more of an idea of how rugged has been the Hmong's escape from Laos at the hospital in the United Nations refugee camp at Nong Khai. Levi Roque, a Philippine doctor who works for the International Rescue Committee, told us what a toll the escape had taken on his patients. The doctor told us about this woman, widow of a man who had fought in the secret army for more than a decade. She was coming across the river with 5 of her children. 4 of them were shot and killed. She was shot in the leg, and her remaining son escaped with a bullet wound in the back.
You get many gunshot wounds here in the hospital, people who are shot at as they leave Laos.
Yes, many.
Hmong tribesmen meeting recently at a refugee camp in Thailand. Just a few years ago, many of these same men were officers in the secret army. They were valiant, resilient, dependable fighters on the side of the United States in the Indochina War.
Well, our problem in U.S. program terms is this. We don't have enough numbers to accommodate those who served with us in Laos, both Lao and Hmong. We're way behind. We have a backlog of 20,000 at the moment, except for our own. The French is the only other government responding to this at all. On a proportional basis, the French are taking more refugees from Thailand than we are.
Dawn in the refugee camp at Loei. A special dawn for 165 Hmong boarding buses that will take them to Bangkok. In a few days, they will be in America, starting new lives in 17 different states. Those who saw the Hmong fight and die in Laos say they are stoic, that they rarely cry or admit pain. But this morning at Loei, it is something different. Almost all are leaving some family behind, cousins, fathers, grandparents, and there is no way of knowing if they will ever see them again.
You know, you read the paper every day and you read about refugees and you read about wars, and in my mind, I never connected with who is really the victim of all that.
They don't have nothing to play with, nothing to do. They play with broken glass. They get in those dumpsters. They eat those sticker bushes back there. They fight over them to eat them. You know, it's just, they don't need to be here.
Hang Sao is the leader of the Hmong in Washington State. At a yearly community picnic, he discusses problems facing the Hmong. I look for a job. Everybody expects you to have a degree or experience. I don't have a degree. No degree, no job. We are the lost people. If people in this country had to work as hard as we did, what would they do? If Americans tried to do the work we did in Laos, they couldn't do it. They're too soft. I don't speak English, but I have a dishwashing job. I try to do my best, but I don't know anything. They say, "How are you?" I say, "Okay." They say, "What do you want to eat?" I say, "Okay." They could say, "Eat shit," and I'd say, "Okay." Anthropologist Marshall Herlick.
The Hmong have a very strong sense of community. Individuals feel responsible towards their families, particularly the older people in their families, their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents. They have a very strong sense of responsibility towards their village or their neighborhood, towards other people in their clan.
Sue doesn't like the idleness afforded him by the welfare checks. He wants to work, but he doesn't even know what he can do within the American working context.
You're looking for what?
Job.
A job?
Yeah.
You speak it in English?
Yes.
How much?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't
Yeah.
speak any English. I can't help you.
Yeah.
You can't get a job here. You'll have to go somewhere else, you know?
No.
Yes. You'll have to go somewhere else. I can't help you.
Mm.
There's no job here.
No.
No job.
Yeah.
No job.
Yes.
The responsibility of supporting this large family, once the welfare and educational programs are cut, rests on Hang Soo. His traditional sense of self-reliance and male leadership has been compromised by years of disruption and idleness. He deals with depression, self-doubt, stress.